Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Voice of Castle Law. I am your host, Gary Davidson, where we're here to create a life worth living, a legacy worth leaving, and a business worth owning. Today, I want to introduce one of my largest clients. They're currently one of the largest buyers of single family homes in the Chicagoland area. They do a lot of flipping of properties, and I want to introduce Matt Arminio. Matt actually was involved with Invitation Homes. They acquired 45,000 properties over the last 10 years. Invitation Homes, you were one of the main brokers for Invitation Homes. So we're going to give you a deep dive on insider secrets on how the hedge funds operate, what algorithms they use, and how you can get the edge in jump-starting your real estate investment career. Matt, thanks for having us on.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks for having me.
So what is it? What is it that these hedge funds are doing? I mean, is it a bunch of MIT grads sitting around in a room? How is it that you guys are having that inside angle, that inside edge in sourcing the properties? And what's the issue where people most lose money when they're buying properties?
Yeah, so just to kind of recap, what we did is, we've researched all the biggest hedge funds, biggest institutional players, all the way down to mom and pops. And what we've discovered without a doubt is that you 100% make your money on the buy. There is very little edge to be created in the construction. You unlock all the value on the acquisition. So all of these guys, all these institutional guys, they've all spent tons of money, tons of time, and we've done the same, crafting a better way to buy properties.
So when you say you make money on the buy, actually what you're paying for the property.
That's right.
And so when I talk to my investors, a lot of times they'll call me up and they'll say, "Hey, Gary, I found this property and it's listed for $100,000. So I figured I'm going to offer $85,000 because they want 100 and maybe we can arrive at 90. But that doesn't have anything to do with value, right?
No, that has nothing to do with value.
So the list price, the asking price, zero in terms of how much you're going to pay.
Yeah, we joke often that discount to list is investors' number one fallacy. It doesn't matter. I mean, I've paid $50,000 over asking price for a property that was one of the best deals I ever did.
So what is the one thing, such if an investor were to do it, makes everything easier or unnecessary? What kind of thing on this analysis on the buy, what kind of things are you doing on a daily basis?
So, we do everything from analyze markets and market trends and population growth trends. And, we're tracking probably 120 some odd different demographics to understand where buyers in a submarket are moving. And then on top of that, we're on every print in the MLS. We've got wholesalers, we've got all sorts of off-market asset managers, banks. I mean, you name it, if they have property, we're in touch with them.
And I mean, it's amazing to see the bandwidth that you guys have. I mean, you know all of the asset managers, you know all the hedge funds, you know all the wholesalers, and you guys know exactly where you need to be in the market. And I've seen so many investors that they get started on this strategy, and the next place they are located in is in the bankruptcy court, because again, on the acquisition, that's really where you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're looking at and you can't move fast, you'll lose. I mean, case in point, we saw an asset in Glencoe the other day. First day on the market on the MLS, our analyst picks it up. It's mispriced by $50,000. We tied it up in about 4 hours. It's not even going to go to market for the weekend. I mean, that's a transaction that we could just put back out on the MLS for $60,000 higher and sell it all day long.
So if I'm an investor, and maybe even I'm a realtor, and I'm going online, I'm like, well, there's no reason to work with a fund like Apex National Real Estate or any fund that you're associated with, because I can go on there and I can do these analytics myself. Because of your relationships, I might not even see that property.
No, you won't see it. Odds are, if you're seeing it, I've already seen it, and my group's already underwritten it, and we've already passed on it.
That's crazy. So what kind of things do you offer for investors for access to these properties that you're actually sourcing?
Yeah, so we maintain an active list of buyers. We're one of the largest funds in Illinois, but believe it or not, we tie up so much stuff that we can't close it all. So for those people that are looking for the right deal and the right opportunity to make money, they can come to us and we can help put them in a position to win.
And I know that you right now, your strategy is you have no buy and holds.
Hmm.
You're only flipping. So there are properties out there, a lot of them, which cash flow like crazy, yet you're not going to take it down just because it may not be a good property as a flip.
That's right.
So, because the obvious question would be, well, why would I work with Matt and Ed and Mark Filler at Apex National Real Estate? Because certainly they're going to take the cream of the crop, and I would be subject to the leftovers. But you have a specific buy box.
That's right. And our buy box right now is complete fix and flips. So we don't hold anything, but we do source properties all the time that are mega cash flowing deals that just aren't a right fit for our current investment pool.
And your current investment pool, your investors have certain parameters of properties that you have to buy, certain locations, certain type of products. So there are properties that have lots of ham on the bone, even for a flip, that maybe you'll pass on just because of particular criteria for the funds that you're getting in from your investors.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when you get to be a fund this size, there's a lot of what I'll call rules or criteria that larger institutional investors, they view certain things as risk. And so there are a lot of properties that we understand on a local level are, and we can mitigate those risks, but they're just not right for our client. So we end up with a whole bunch of fix and flips that are great opportunities to make money, and we're handing them out to guys that, that are looking for product every day.
How is it that I would come to you and say, I want to be a buyer from Apex National Real Estate?
Yeah, the easiest way to do it is either to go to our website, which is apexnationalre.com, or to just email me directly. My email is marminio, that's ARMINIO, at apexnationalre.com.
And of course, obviously for the thousands of investors that Castle Law represents, if you need to have a contact with Matt, I'm happy to make an email introduction to you and to your team. I know that we're currently probably closing on 10 to 20 properties per month for your team. The real estate market is incredibly vibrant right now. We have really low interest rates, which create massive demand for properties. So it's even more important now. I mean, I've been doing this for 21 years. It's even more important than ever to have that inside edge, to have those relationships, because real estate is a relationship game. If you don't know the asset managers, if you don't know the REO brokers, if you don't know those hedge funds, you don't have access to that inventory. And the reality is, I tell investors every day, for the average person, and I'm an average person, I'm fortunate to know you. You're not an average person. You guys have millions of dollars at your disposal. If I want to call the bank and I call the bank and say, hey, I want to buy this property, all I'm going to hear is a dial tone on the other end, because they don't want to deal with one-offs like myself. But you guys have that inside relationship where you can have these opportunities to source these properties. And so I see that as a huge value to people who want to work with somebody like you to get access to that sort of inventory.
Yeah, in our company, we call that the right to win. If you're looking at an off-market property, or you're ending up with a property, even if it's on market, what's your right to win? Why are you the one that ends up with that property? If you don't have relationships, if you can't close, if you don't have the experience level that these banks or these asset managers are looking for, they don't have time to waste with you. They don't have time to waste with some guy who might take one house off them one time and then never come back. But with us, we're taking tens, 15, even hundreds of houses off of some of these guys. So they know us, they respect us, and they understand that we can close. So it's a win-win for both sides.
You guys have opened my eyes, and I've learned a lot from you. I mean, in 10 years, you guys have bought thousands of properties. You were a buyer for Invitation Homes, 45,000 properties over the course of Invitation Homes in the last several years. You guys were involved in a lot of those. As investors, we need to make sure that we minimize our risk and we maximize our return. How do we do that? We do that with relationships. Relationships with the right people, relationships that matter. Because if you're going to minimize your risk, as Matt told us, we have to buy right. If we're going to maximize our return, we have to buy right. You lose money on the buy, not on the sale. So I'm Gary Davidson. This is the Voice of Castle Law, where we're here to help you create that life worth living, legacy worth leaving, and career worth having.